It's December, and that means Ask Dash. Let's get into another one. All right, so I am having an absolute ball doing these videos. This next video is gonna be number 9. This is number 9, can you believe it? Today, or this video is the 9th video in the 2022 Ask Dash video series. Why I decided to make it so formal, I have no idea. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's do this. All right, today's video or today's question comes from James Foster. James says, first time caller, long time listener. I love that. Thanks, James, for obviously piping in. Well, thank you first for watching. And then thank you secondly for getting up the courage to type a comment and leave a question. So James says, where do you prefer to source meat? Costco, online, or food distributor? Do you feel the premium meats offered online are worth it? All right, so here's my take, and it's kind of a hot take, so bear with me, right? Hold on, let me be right back. This is coffee in a beer mug. It's kind of lukewarm, so I can take a swig like that. Anyway, I prefer to source my meat wherever I can get it less expensive, or wherever I can get it, wherever I can get it is a good thing. So there are some times when the meat can be less easily accessible. Case in point, during the pandemic, I could not find chicken wings to save my life. So what did I have to do? I had to buy chicken wings when and or wherever I could find them, if I could find them. But as of today, post-pandemic, things have gotten a little more normal, and I'm able to find brisket at Sam's, I'm able to find brisket at Costco, I'm able to find brisket at the Restaurant Depot. Pulled pork. I usually get my pulled pork from the Restaurant Depot, but I will on occasion buy pulled pork from Sam's. And lastly, I try to buy the least amount of meat that I can from Costco. And I'll kind of tell you why I buy the meat that I buy from different places. And maybe this will help explain to you, or maybe this will help you understand why I get what I get from each particular store. So for all intents and purposes, I get my meat from one of 4 places: the Restaurant Depot, Sam's, Costco, or a local market. Okay, my local market being Giant Food. Anyway, Restaurant Depot. I can almost always go into Restaurant Depot and find any and everything that I need. Almost always. The problem with Restaurant Depot, when I go into Restaurant Depot and I purchase chicken, I have to buy chicken from the Restaurant Depot. And when I say chicken, I mean boneless, skinless breasts, boneless, skinless thighs, and or chicken wings. I have to buy them in 40-pound cases. I cannot purchase, if I need 5 pounds of chicken. Last Friday I needed 5 pounds of chicken for an event. I don't really want to buy a 40-pound case of chicken breasts and chicken thighs that I have to split up into, let's say, 3 to 5 pound increments so that I can have that chicken on hand at home. That makes it so that I'll have to store that meat at home and make sure that, well, one, I have to put up that upfront cost to purchase that meat. Then I'll have to store that meat at home, and it's a whole issue. But I can go in there and buy a single brisket. I can go in there and buy a single unit of pork shoulder, which will be 2 pork shoulders pretty much. And if I need to take one and vacuum seal it and freeze it and put it off to the side, I can. So number 1 for me purchasing beef and pork is going to be Restaurant Depot. Now, Sam's, I'm going to talk about Sam's. Sam's is pretty much, I can go to Sam's and almost always get any and everything that I need. When I say almost always, I can go into Sam's and get smaller individual bone-in pork shoulder. Now that individual bone-in pork shoulder will be slightly more expensive sometimes than it is at the Restaurant Depot. It is bone in, which means that there's a bone and I have to contest with the bone and it takes longer to cook. My preference for cooking pork shoulder is going to be a boneless Boston butt, okay? Not the picnic. So talk about the Boston butt. The Boston butt is more like the clavicle, this part, and the picnic is more like the top of the front leg, which is more like a ham, a small ham. Okay, I prefer the Boston butt. Anyway, the Boston butts at Sam's have bones in them, which means it's going to take longer for those to cook. Again, I prefer the boneless butts from Restaurant Depot because they don't take as long to cook. Now, the only problem with that is I usually end up getting 2 Boston butts, and then I have to cut the pack apart, freeze half of it, and then I can use that other half, the frozen half, at a later date. Okay. The chicken at Sam's is my preference. Because the chicken at Sam's comes in packs, I can kind of tailor my purchase to how much chicken I actually need. Again, last week I had an event. That event was for last Friday. I needed 5 pounds of chicken. I was able to purchase a 6-pound pack of boneless, skinless thighs and a 5-pound pack of boneless, skinless breasts. Excuse me. And cook them all together, combine them together. And then I had extra chicken left over, but I was able to cook that down. And I've talked about it before. The net, if I'm cooking 11 pounds of chicken, I'll usually net probably 7 to 8 pounds. So I had a few pounds of chicken left over, and I was able to have that for us, have that off to the side for us to eat. Or I can take that extra little bit and sell it to someone who said, hey, if you ever have anything extra, let me know, and I'll purchase it from you accordingly. So there's less excess when I go to Sam's, and I can kind of purchase exactly what I need. Now, Costco. If I happen to be in Costco and I see something that I need, like if I have a cook coming up and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get brisket, or I'm going to get chicken, or I'm going to get pork shoulder. The problem with Costco is everything is more expensive there. With the exception of, if it wasn't last year, it was the year before last when I purchased my turkeys for Thanksgiving. I was able to get my turkeys from Thanksgiving at the time for 99 cents a pound per bird. Versus Sam's, where Sam's was at like $1.19 per pound, and I think the Restaurant Depot was at like $1.29 per pound. So there are times when having that Costco membership to be able to bounce prices off of Sam's and Restaurant Depot comes in handy. There are also times when I'm at Costco on some more random stuff to get food for my family, and I happen to see something I need for my business. Some seasoning, or some aluminum foil, or some foil pans, or some butter, or some whatever the case may be, and I can get it from Costco versus the Restaurant Depot and or Sam's. Now, where the Restaurant Depot is to me, Restaurant Depot to me is like 10 minutes away. The Sam's to me, I have 2 that are close. One of them is 5 minutes away, the other is 15 minutes away. And that Costco is probably 20, 25 minutes away. So between the 3, my preference when I'm shopping for food for my business is to go to Restaurant Depot, because usually I can go in there and make one trip and be done. So that also is a factor for when and or how I purchase food for my business. Last but not least, the local supermarket, the Giant Market. The problem I have with Giant is I can find sometimes the things that I need, but they are going to be almost twice as much at that supermarket that they will be at Sam's, Costco, and or Restaurant Depot. But this particular year, which is crazy to me, this year I was able to source and get my turkeys that I cooked for Thanksgiving. I ended up purchasing 11 of the 19 turkeys that I needed for Thanksgiving from, well, no. I was able to purchase 11 of the 19 turkeys from the Giant at 37 cents a pound this year. The other 8 turkeys I ended up having to buy, I purchased from Giant, but they were $1.27 or $1.29. By the time it worked out that you did the math, I averaged like 75 cents per 75 cents per pound for the turkeys that I purchased this particular year. And I'm not mad at that. The problem I had, and the reason why I ended up having to buy 8 turkeys at a higher cost was, one, I started purchasing turkeys towards, it was about Halloween. And I purchased 2 here, another 2 here, another 2 or 3 here. And what ended up happening was I ran out of freezer space. Those turkeys take up a lot of room, and because I purchased them so early, I couldn't put them into the refrigerator. Normally, I end up purchasing the turkeys like the Sunday before Thanksgiving, and then I'll put them in the refrigerator for a day or so. I'll let them sit out for a day or so. Then I brine them, and then I cook them. This year, I was not so lucky. I was not able to do that, and I purchased them well ahead of time, which meant that I needed to keep them frozen. Because I had to keep them frozen, I only have so much freezer space, and I could only fit, I think I could fit 8 or 9 turkeys in the freezer, and that's why I ended up only being able to purchase that many. So then when I went to purchase the last few turkeys, they only had turkeys that were like 12 pounds or 20 pounds. I actually like to cook about a 15-pound bird. The turkeys that I was able to find in that 15-pound range were, of course, the more expensive, fresher turkeys. Anyway, there's that. So hopefully that answered your question. Me being me, that was a roundabout way, and I see this video is like almost 12 minutes long. So I apologize, but sorry, not sorry. Thank you so very much, as always, for watching. I really do appreciate you watching, and I appreciate this being your first of many comments, okay? Anyway, thanks again, as always, everyone, for watching. Don't forget, don't be bashful. Make sure you leave your question down below. There's still time. This is only episode 9. You can feel free to get your question in, and I will answer it and speak to you directly. Thank you so very much again. I'll see you guys in the next one.